Good morning. Welcome to discussion segments of Good Morning Anambra. How are you? Sure, you're already seated and waiting for us. Okay, now that we're here, we have this topic we want to look at, reducing post-harvest losses. Do you know what that means? When you cultivate, harvest, bumper harvest, but you don't know how to preserve what you have harvested. Perhaps you eat some, you sell some. What happens to the remnants? Before it's 3-4 months after harvest, they start decaying and, you throw them away. And that's how you have lost what you have labored for. These days that you even pay money to cultivate or however you do it. And at the end of the day, because of poor preservation, you won't be able to get value for what you have invested. That's what we're going to look at this period. My name is Ijama. I have a J with me.
Yeah, thank you so much. The way you're talking about harvest and, we are meant to understand that farming is one of the oldest professions in this world. I'm talking about harvest and then not being able to preserve it and then having losses at the end of it all. And how does that make you a successful farmer or successful agriculturist? So today we shall be talking more on harvest and preserving and then packaging and the rest of it all, how you can get to have, better yields and then improved earnings when it has to do with your agricultural products.
Okay, and to look at this, we'll have gentlemen that have joined us, not minding your gender. Once you come to my table, you're a man. Okay, so Dr. Okoye Ngozi, she is a registered dietitian and a nutritionist. Good morning, NG.
Good morning, viewers. Thank you for inviting me.
I didn't add that she's also my friend.
Yeah.
Okay, and I have Professor IJ Okeke. IJ is my name. I have a friend and I have another one that's bearing my name. Okay, Professor IJ Okeke, Green Energy Specialist, National Energy Research and Development Center, UNN. Good morning, Prof.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I have Doc and Prof in the house. Are we safe this morning?
We are.
We are safe?
Yeah.
Okay, welcome, gentlemen. Now let's look at the way we started, because we started having a lot of innovation in farming these days. Let's look at the way we started as a people when we started living as a people and farming. Of course, we started with the subsistence ones, and we continued and it got to where we are now. So how do we used to farm, harvest, and preserve? Let me start with you, Prof.
To me, we lost what they had. Prehistory of Nigeria opened up everywhere. Call it farming, using natural, that is organic, to farm, preserving whatever they had that time, is okay. But when the white man came here, they saw what they have, but they didn't want us to continue that way. If they had, just like in Egypt, if they had left us with no culture, continue, then we may be faster than them, but they don't want it. They close it. Continue telling us it's a cake and this and cake, but it's working for us. Like using clay to preserve everything, not even apple, but even human being. When someone died that time, they had no time to bury them. Use clay to preserve. Under no culture, prehistory of Nigeria. And if you recollect, Ibuku bronze was taught by ordinary peoples or community. So when it comes to preservation of food, we had everything. Look at this thing. This is clay pots. Two of them. This small one and this one will be working together with sand inside and water. That's all. This thing can last you more than 1 year. I've tried myself. If you come to ABS, UNN, you see it. It's working. Even the National Energy Commission at Abuja is working.
How does it work, please?
Bring sand, sharp sand, to here and feed this one. Then fish this one inside. Water that sand. Whatever you put here now, inside, use, at the end, you can use cloth to cover it. Be sure you are watering it every day.
Every day?
It will remain every morning water.
Where does the water go?
It will remain fresh, not ice low. Nothing like ice, but it will remain fresh. If it's fish or meat, you have soup.
What of soup, prepared soup?
Soup can work. Anything can work. I have my own in my house.
Okay, if you have to be adding water every day, where does the water go? Where does the water go?
I find we pour water, not much big water, small. As much water. The sand will strip the water immediately.
Where will it be placed on this
No,
farm?
for you now, it's a lemma, you don't know. But water, in the sand they absorb water.
No, when you want to preserve with this and put everything together, where do you place it? In your room?
Yeah,
outside?
Ventilated place,
Yeah.
that's outside the corridor. If it's Sudan.
Okay,
ventilated
place. Okay, we're coming to that.
You need ventilation there.
Okay, we're coming. You're going to do more explanations on that. Yes.
Yeah, talking about farming being one of the oldest culture, way of life. And then we have in the advanced countries where they said farmers are the richest in Europe, in Asia. Why is it that in this part of the world you have farmers being synonymous with poverty, poor people, and then people that barely have any level of education? Why do we have that all mixed up? And yet this is one of the oldest traditions. Is there something we are not doing right in this part of the world? Or is it that, like you probably said earlier on, the white man came and then told us to deviate from their own ways and probably from our own ways and then do their own ways? So please, can you reconnect this stuff so that people watching and then probably farmers listening to you, watching you, will definitely get to know the right way to go about this so that we can start making this money that is in agriculture.
Okay, let me tell you something. The prehistory of Nigeria made farmers to be very rich. That time is only yam, cocoa yam, mainly cocoa yam, plantain, that's all.
No cassava.
No cassava. It was after the Second World War that cassava came and rice. So that farming that time was one way. If it's a farmer, yes, for yam, you know, my father was the richest in the farm, almost 5 bands. If it's cocoa yam, my mother was also very good cooker. So they were doing something they do very well. It was after the Second World War that banana, this was plantain was there that time, cocoa was there. So the ancient Africans were very rich.
In our own level.
Your level is okay. It can't be everywhere in the world. You'll be happy with your level.
Yes.
Now Chinese are not even thinking about Africa. I think about Europe. They mean they retain their Chinese. And Chinese culture is still retained. Chinese culture 500 years ago is still retained. What they do is they modify it, continue. India the same thing, Brazil the same thing. Why should Africa deviate from their own? Once you learn whatever you are given by God, you are nowhere. Just like a language now. We live our language. Italian cannot live the Italian language. German cannot live the Italian cannot live the Italian food. They cannot. So the problem in Africa is going us against the nature. The one the God gave you know very well for your forefathers. So they do one. The one cannot solve you. No matter how mechanized it cannot solve you. It can never solve you.
Okay. Dr. Ngozi, you're a dietitian. You will come in now to tell us how perhaps we need to start consuming this thing while we harvest them fresh, okay? So that even if we have to suffer some loss in the past, we would have gotten more. Because I know the dietitian will tell us, eat everything that is in season. Now that it's Udala, eat all the old dollars before it goes off, and mango and all of that. So how do we do that?
Okay, thank you. Actually, just as you rightly stated, eat everything that is in season. You can't finish everything that is used to preserve, just as the topic has a post-harvest preservation. Because if you don't preserve, which one will you have to use as a seedling for the next year for planting? So why at least if you eat those things, mostly the food, those perishables, do you understand me? When you eat the perishables, when they are still in good order, you get the nutritional value, all the nutritional value you want. But one of the things is this, in that post-preservation or whatever, there are some key factors that attributes to this or that can help us out. Like, well, all this, let me take for example the fruits, vegetables that you know those ones are more perishable than yam when you compare it to yam. So these fruits are very, you know, you think of maturity. You think of maturity because if these things are immature, you might not, before you pluck them or harvest them, they might damage along the way. So the maturity of the food has to come in question. You put it in question, consider that, and you don't allow food to be over mature. Why am I saying it? Because of nutritive value, concentrate on it so that you get benefit that at that particular time. Then if there are any of them that has to be preserved, we can do that. But I know like
no, what do you mean by not allowing fruit to be over mature? So I can harvest my yam when it's not, when the end is still very whitish or whatever. No, these things, they have time. You plant this at like this month.
Let me come. Like there's duration of yam when you plant, and there's duration of that yam to stay in the land there. If it overstays, you now see beetles or cricket going to eat up the yam. Okay. And when they are eating up some part of the yam, you might not benefit from that yam again. But if you allow the yam, maybe it stays up to 4 to 6 months, and you go to harvest that yam, it is still in good order. But when you allow this thing to overstay, I've just had an experience like last year when I traveled, I planted some yam. So when I came back to harvest, because it has passed the time I used to harvest. So when I came back to harvest, you now see the land has hardened up. And some of them, this cricket or termites have started eating some of them. You not get all you planted before. And you started losing some of the crops. Okay. So that is it. Then we are talking about vegetable and this thing. Assuming, Prof mentioned about the maybe plantain and all whatnot. Assuming you harvest this thing when they are immature, you might not get exactly what you on when they are over mature. You know, when they are over mature, they start to spoil. Because we're talking about post-harvest. And I believe one of the objectives of this discussion, how do we preserve these two so that next season we're able to utilize that? Thank you.
Okay.
Talking about trying to have a very good harvest, variables, let me come to Prof now. What are the variables that we should look out for in order to safeguard this? You know, Nigeria is very, very blessed with arable land, fertile land, everywhere you look around, you understand. But we do have this existential threat to those farm produce. We have, like every year, flooding in some parts of the world and stuff like that. What will you, in your own experience, tell farmers or would-be farmers what to do when flooding and all these natural disasters do come away, in order for us not to suffer, you know, famine or some form of shortages of this food? Like the excuse they gave us why onions was very expensive was because of what happened in Maiduguri last year, and we were buying one onion for 1,000 naira. So what can you say to farmers in order to prevent these natural disasters from bringing about food shortages?
The best way or the easiest way to go back. Back, I mean, system what they've been doing by 12th, 11th, 13th century. If you go back to history of Nigeria,
development has come up.
Government is going nowhere. Where did you invest in?
No, we're talking about development.
Development has come up.
What you call development, not even development.
It is what?
What you call development in Africa, not even development.
What is it?
Because if you don't preserve what you have, you are not developing. If you're not living longer as a human being, you die early. You're not developing.
People in the developed climes, they preserve their agricultural products.
Tell what they had before.
No. That's this technology they use. Why won't us imbibe the technology to preserve our own?
Last week I was in Abuja with National Council for Climate Change. They are in trouble. That was affected. So what I mean is, if you don't go back, with our language, our culture, whatever, we are not going to do it. You cannot change Chinese man to think like European man.
How does going back
prevent this indigenous technology? Reviving them, not number one. Making sure that every university in Nigeria, every technical school, every college know what they had before. We start that place. If it's preserving food or this thing, there is a green technology. We can use photovoltaic to preserve whatever you want to preserve. We do the maybe coal room with clay or with a metal, anything. Inside, on top, you will apply what they call photovoltaic is panel, solar. That place, you measure the temperature. If the fruit is 50, 40, 30 temperature. We measure it very well so that you retain the temperature. Otherwise, this thing is retain temperature. So we must go back to where we come from.
If we are going back, how can we be applying solar? Solar is a new technology.
But when they applied this, there was surprise because they don't need it.
Professor IJ.
So what I mean is, we must go back. Our mind must accept that we have something better before.
Going back, like you're saying, can going back prevent dams from overflowing? Can going back prevent water, you understand, rivers being areas being overtaken by flood? So how does going back that you're talking about increase food in this part of the world, and how does it prevent these natural disasters from hitting farmers? This is a periodic thing that happens every year. What do you think we can do?
Okay. You want us to marry
Yes.
the preservation and the climate crisis.
Exactly.
Eh?
The natural disasters that we do face, especially in this part of the world.
Every
Every year.
There's
we
a
have
place called Florence.
Yeah.
Even now they're Venice, the water flood every year. They have to use their own common sense to make war, concrete war against Venice. It happened for Florence. It happened in Venice. Venice is every day, every year. Venice. Merchant of Venice.
Yeah, we know that's the city that is
living inside
water.
There, people just going there because there is embankment. So if you continue looking at a flood, you are going to die in flood. You must start something. Wall, concrete wall can prevent it. And it's channeled to maybe to hide it, to dam, channeled to farm. This water can be channeled to desert in Nigeria. The members in Nigeria, we can channel them, mechanized one, to all the desert. So we're not losing anything. The water will go to the desert, avoiding what the people live.
And water the desert, we can even farm in the desert.
But are ready to work. Are they ready to work?
Why?
This is what they are saying now. It's blessing to us if we know the technology. They can now divert all of them to the desert in Nigeria. Almost 5 states in Nigeria are in the desert already now. We don't know what to do. But this water can help us get them okay.
Prevent desertification, okay.
We can do that one. It doesn't cost much.
Okay, you want to come in?
Just contribution to what he's saying and to the question he asked. At least I know Prof understood the question he asked. Maybe initially he didn't understand the question. So like, yearly, government will keep on warning. Maybe you'll be expecting that there'll be overflooding and all whatnot. Then government in their own, what are they doing to see that there is prevention of this overflooding? Are you getting me? So God, just as he's saying, government should find a way. What is the cause of this overflooding that does happen every year? Sometimes they might say, Kaiji Dam is following, this in the
dam in Cameroon
was opened.
How have they met the Cameroonians or the president? What do we do so that when you open up the dam, this thing will not come and sweep us, all of us out? Do you understand me?
There'll be money budgeted for FEMA now to control the dam and then give palliatives.
Which people, sorry?
No, I said national emergency
No,
agency.
that is where
money will be budgeted for them, waiting for flood to come, so that they will give palliatives and this and that. Perhaps that's why they don't want to do anything.
If our government, they have their forecast.
Everything is business here.
Business here. Even some people that money might be given, they do divert to another place. So instead of, that is where we keep on having these losses. Because if it is over, he's talking about, and they'll have the pre-forecast, and this is what is going to happen. And information will be passed on time. So people get prepared towards that. And they will try to find a way that they stop this thing reoccurring. But people will not, they'll fold their hands. They know that every government will be shifting money, budgeting money for that particular thing, and farmers will be losing. And when the farmers are losing, we all, the consumers also, are suffering from it.
It's okay. It's okay. Let's now look at what to do. It's enough of apportioning blames here and there. Let's look at what to do to save our lives. So how does this post-harvest losses affect farmers' incomes and food security? You heard AJ say that because of what happened in Maiduguri, we were not able to get onions as we used to. We started buying one single onions for 1,000 naira. Okay? So if we allow this to continue, how does it affect the farmers?
If you accept that you are sick, the best thing to go to hospital. If you accept number one. If you accept that you are not doing anything, you are hungry, get something. That's number one. Is Nigeria accepting that they are sick, academically, politically, everywhere. So this preservation, the rural people can use the old method where there's no light, like this one. They can use it. Then urban places can use photovoltaic. That is the one that costs all in Nigeria. photovoltaic application. That one is okay for us. It doesn't cost much. In China now they're using it. India they're using it. Brazil they're using it. We can stay this and doing it in Nigeria. To avoid this waste, this flood, we must start thinking about desert. That's what we went to the desert earlier before the flood. Not waiting for the flood. Though. If you go into the Venice, it's always there. Water is, but if you go there, you'll be happy because water will be controlled. Even flood is the same thing. So waiting for problems, no, that's a problem. We must wake ourselves, start working. Start working. It's very easy something. It won't cost make money. I told the National Council at Abuja that 2 people are just sleeping. We must divert all these things from Meduguri, for Yobe, all to the desert. Earlier, diverting there doesn't take much. So that every year, Nigeria will start enjoying, because we know that we can solve that problem. Not calling the weapon. The weapon cannot come here to solve it for us. They know that we're sleeping. And we must stop sleeping.
For
contribution, please.
Yeah.
Prof, sorry, I think the question is, now that farmers are having losses, there was a picture they brought out. How do you go about it? How does the farmer, or how do the farmers feel? I'm saying that if I'm a farmer, I would do some, because I do cultivate. But it's just in a mini scale. So that just the people that have it as their occupation. If I have it as my occupation here in Nigeria, that I'm farming and every year there's no yield coming in because I know that I have to sell those things. When I sell them, I have to, the money generated from that, use it for my maybe family occupant. So I now saw like the picture, I'm reference to the picture that was posted there, orange. Because if the farmers are just every year they farm, they make cultivate and all these perishable goods and nothing, you don't see a way of preservation and maybe they will want to transport. All these things will got damaged on the way. I will not be encouraged. I'll be discouraged. You know? So that was what I said initially when she asked question about as a dietitian, the value of all these things. Because when farmer is cultivating, he has to have certain things in mind. Who are those people that I'm going to sell these products that I've just produced? Are they willing to buy these things? And if there are leftover, how am I going to preserve these things? Now, take for example, when we go out there at this express, you might see some of these fruit like banana. I see some people say they carry from, is it Ogoja or whatever. These oranges will start on the line. So transportation might be difficult. Some of them might, when they'll be waiting for a vehicle lorry to carry this thing down to the east. Unfortunately, some of these, they might be on the way, they might have accident. That whole thing will now be what? Either the lorry fell and the whole thing damaged. So now, how does the farmer feel? Assuming this happens to him or her yearly, how does the farmer feel? I don't think the farmer will be courageous enough to continue this thing. So it's not left that if government now say, okay, we see what is happening, because there's something they'll call like MAP, modified atmospheric packaging. So these oranges, there's a way they can package those things, and when they package, they don't allow any something like oxygen to enter. Are you getting me? Because oxygen helps the growth of breathing of this mantle of this thing. So in that atmospheric packaging, there's a way they do it. That they allow maybe the gas that will be there is only carbon dioxide and the nitrogen that do not allow for the breathing of this. I want to use myself as an example. There was a time I was not around. So I had these grains, beans, 2 years ago. Then these grains, I stored them in this container. So that was last week, I think. I bought the one I bought last year again. So it's okay. Let me finish the ones that are there in the former ones that I had 2 years ago. Unfortunately for me, thinking that the beans are still in good order, when I brought out one of the containers, I opened and said, weevils. So I said, what is happening? How did weevil enter this? How did weevil enter this thing? So I had to take it out, the container out. When I took the container out, I had to pour out the content onto, what do you call it, this waterproof or whatever. So I now checked the container, said that maybe somebody along the line lifted the container because it is heavy and dropped it, maybe heavily on the ground. So the under, there was crack at the two ends. And that crowd now allow weevil to enter. So that is it. Then, if the farmers are not being encouraged, now left for the government, that government should know, how do we preserve this thing? I would say,
but we have national silos.
Yes, if government, that is again, how many farmers know about that? Government should say, and we don't like we are, as we farmers are viewing this thing, they'll be listening. This is a way of creating awareness. Okay, where's the silo? Government, okay, farmers, we're educating you. This is how to preserve your food when you have harvested. Then these are the ways. He is a professional on that. So these are the ways this food can be preserved. Even if you are not able to go there, then the silo, maybe you think of money, availability of vehicle and all whatnot to convert to that. This is the way, because I know in the olden days, there were where we have preserving. You can sun dry, depending type of food. You can do smoking, depending type of food. Your essence to reduce the water content. When the
what can we sun dry? What can we sun dry?
Okay, let me go now. Like I know, like pepper, for example, the olden days, pepper can, when they harvest it, they can spread the pepper under the sun. Like these grains, when I was growing up as a child, we had something like these kidney beans or kachana. Every woman had it. When they harvest that, they will sun dry it. The essence to see that the water content.
Can you also sun dry tomatoes?
You can. Why the Hausa people are sun dry?
When you talk about this sun drying this thing, the essence of this thing, good enough, you're a nutritionist. To what degree are we losing the
nutritional value?
The value, that nutrient that we need in this preservation of these things, either using the sun or using oven dry and the rest of it all. There are certain amounts of value that we lose when we sun dry this thing. That is why some of this food comes with preservatives in order to extend the shelf life of the packaging. And then the same doctors will tell us that we shouldn't be eating all this semi-processed food. So you now begin to confuse us, the agriculturalists, the nutrition, and then the doctor. I think we need to have these three people seated together so that we can actually know what it is that we're doing. Because the farmer plants, then the nutritional will tell you the nutritional value. Then the doctor will now tell you, okay, don't eat this, don't eat this, don't eat it, because in the process of preservation, you've lost a greater percentage of the nutrients, and now you brought in preservative in order to preserve and extend the shelf life, and that is harmful to the health. So can you please?
Yeah. Okay, now, thank you. Do you know? Do you think that our forefathers, they are better than us, or are we better than them in terms of foods?
I would believe they had no technology, so they are better than us.
Good. Because that is what they have been doing. They were scientists. But the only thing you say now, their own science is not advanced the way we are. Take for example, if as a nutritionist, a dietitian now, there are what we call, what do you call it, enrichment or fortification. Enrichment that when a nutrient is lost, you try to adopt that nutrient that was lost.
By preservative?
Not preservative.
By
Not
what?
preservative.
By what?
Okay. How do I say it now? Okay, take for example, assuming that, let's say for example, vegetable, if I should come that way, there's no way you want to preserve vegetable now. You sun dry, you cannot sun dry vegetable. It has to be shed drying. Reason for shed drying vegetable is to return that what? Nutritive value.
Which is the green, huh? Which is captured in
The
the
chlorophyll.
The nutritive value, because you know that most vegetables contain folate. And folate is a type of vitamin B complex. And vitamin B and C are liable they are water soluble. They can easily vanish. Do you understand me? So better for you to return these things, you can sun dry. Sorry, you can shed dry.
Shed dry, okay.
But for what do you call it, for pepper that I gave an example, I don't think there's anything that lost in pepper, because pepper is mostly, maybe, is a spice and contains vitamin A. Your vitamin A, when oil is used in cooking, the vitamin A is added.
Reactivated. Okay, let us move on. Professor IJ, you have talked about preservation, local way of preservation, African way of preservation. You even compared it to that of the Chinese and that of the Indians. Okay. Now, let us see if what the innovative way of preservation that is in place. How can we marry the two? We mentioned, when you were talking, you also mentioned the solar system. Okay. How can we marry the innovative way of preservation to this of traditional way of preservation so that we'll preserve our food? That is most important to us.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Of date, I have already fabricated and supplied 25 dryers, green dryers. If you are using green dryers, no nutrient will be removed, everything will be contained.
That is the one they call shade drying?
I don't know what I call it, but in the...
No, when you dry something in the house instead of outside.
In the house, same thing. But if you want to dry faster and they commercialize it, you must use a green dryer. They want to use add photovoltaic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah? So that's one we can do it every village in Nigeria, like in Tanzania now, even Kenya. Every family in Tanzania, the government sponsor this. And the people are located in Tanzania to be going inside the villages, teaching them the mechanism. Now, even in Rwanda, they're doing it now. So Nigeria can borrow that idea. It won't cost much. For Ministry of Agriculture, they can do, when we now train them, this green dryer, they can do it in the village. That's number one. Number two is the starting packaging. Packaging is very important. Yeah? Packaging. Without the packaging, no food can last more.
Okay.
Because the temperature goes up and down. Inside packaging, they can't enter again there. So after drying, it must package.
The packaging, doesn't it in other way compromise the nutritional value?
No. After drying,
okay,
the complete temperature will be packaged.
Okay.
If you go to shop right now, all this in a foreign product there, they have been drying and packaged. They remain there for years.
They even package fresh ones.
They can package fresh when they are control temperature. Eh? We can do such in Nigeria because Nigeria is blessed with sun that gives electricity everywhere. Our job in Soka is to train lecturers who can now go out and start doing. But how many people can now say, let us send, with the Anambra says, sending maybe 200 people to Soka to be trained, or even we say trained. We need training everywhere.
They need to know that something like that is existing now before they could send.
I've gone to many in Nigeria. I've talked in Lagos, talked in Abuja. Enugu, always there. That's mechanization in agriculture or preservation is very simple technology. Doesn't take much, and we have the salt here that help us. So mechanized green dryers is very important. Number one, packaging them after drying is number two. They're keeping them in a controlled temperature. Number two, if you don't have controlled temperature, this house is controlled. When there is a thatch house or mud floor, that place is also controlled, like our people live in old days. So we have everything. The remaining thing is to make sure that our people know what to have. That's the only thing.
Oh, thank you so much. At this point, we'll call for street walk. Let's get to hear from those that are watching us, that are talking about the topic we have discussing here in the studio, what their opinion is on food preservation and harvest lost. Don't go anywhere. The show continues after this.
We have are even enough for immediate consumption, let alone the one to preserve. Yes, I know what I'm talking about because I'm also a farmer. The immediate produce is not even enough for immediate consumption. So I think we should be going focusing more as regards agriculture is in the area of farming, not the storage now, because you can see once we produce is not even enough to stop. It's not enough to feed the nation. So we should be targeting more on producing more produce. Then I believe by so doing we can now work more on the storage facilities, how to store.
Most measure consists in how fertile the land is. And secondly, after harvesting the cassava or any other crop. For example, I'm using cassava now for an example. You can dry it in a local way, preserve it, and also that will help you to make it, to convert it to other foods that you can make it as abacha or cassava. Then that's when you preserve it like that, it will help this to last longer, more than the way it's supposed to last.
People are yet to adopt these preservative methods as enhance this food storage after harvest. Understand? So we still deal with all these crude ways of preserving food that cannot take us for a longer time. Understand? And if you notice that the country, we are increasing every day. Children are being born every day. And so many things that we need. So, this is civilization and the way people are building everywhere. People are not into that farming method now. You understand? So the little that are into this agriculture, they still employ this crude method of preservation, which is not reliable. So I'm not into the sector, but I will advise the government, the agriculture people, to train people, these local farmers, those that are into subsistence and those that are into commercial, the major ways to improve.
That the preservative is too much of the preservative is not good for the health. You say danger to our health. So me, personally, I don't like any preservative food. The one that lasts for preservative that can last more than 6 months. To me, I don't really go for it. I don't like that. I don't like it. So if you can, that's the one that we can feed. The one that we can use for the moment before harvesting the
Yeah, we're still here talking about food preservation, trying to reduce our harvest loss as farmers. And for everybody that you see around, we are definitely inclined to agricultural productivity because we all eat food every day. And so we need our farmers to be up and doing, and we even need the value chain system that goes with the agricultural products in the area of preservation, repackaging, and then making the mega bucks when it has to do with exports too. Because sincerely speaking, that is one area we've not really cashed into because there is a whole lot of foreign exchange to be made in agricultural repackaged foods. IJ, probably maybe one of these days we might even want to venture into that and see if we can,
okay,
make some dollars there. But then we have our
why not?
Yeah, professionals here in the studio talking about Dr. Ngozi, talking about a nutritionist and telling us the need for preservation and the likes of it. And then we have Professor IJ, the expert when it has to do with agriculture here. We are still talking this issue, and then there is still some areas that we've not really talked on. And Nigeria is somehow lopsided. Coming to you, Professor, it's somehow lopsided. We in the southern part of Nigeria will sit down and wait for the north to produce food, and then they now ship it down to this place. To what end is this going to continue? Can't this anomaly or narrative be changed so that Nigeria, across all board, everything will be, if you want yam, you have it here in large quantity. If you want tomatoes, you can equally have it here. If you want banana. So is there no way we can integrate this farming culture all around so that there can be food and self-sufficiency in every part of the country?
Thank you very much. I have visited almost 55 research centers in Nigeria. In this research center, that's what they get. When I go there, I say, show me what you're doing here. They look at me. Because I worked with the World Bank before coming back to Nigeria. So the research centers are failing, academia failing. Now, if we want it, we must be ready to talk. We must be ready to visit places. By 1945, the Easterners have enough food. They not have enough. The West have enough. Remember that Emmanuel was using palm oil to maintain the Eastern Nigeria.
Yeah.
He exported them. The West was using cocoa. You remember that?
Yes.
The North, granite and the hazard skin.
Yeah.
So if we have continued this level, by now, nothing. Even Malaysia, learn their performance here from here.
Yes.
They learned how to manage their palm here. Now that helps the world.
Number one.
So.
And now we don't get palm oil to use here.
If we want to revive the Opara, Bad Bello, Awolowo, there's time for us. Many of us that came back from the pole, we can assist. Because we want to revive the areas where we put the palm oil here, the grants in the north, the cocoa in the west. We can still go back. We can stay here. My lecture in the budget, we must go back to where we stop.
How do we get you involved?
Myself involved?
Yes, I know you and your colleagues. How do we get you involved to revive the system?
From now, energy center, from Sokoto, I'll call all of them. We go to Abuja, and they meet them who is in charge. Nigeria is thinking.
So why won't you do that?
We're about to do it. It's not easy. Okay. Because when you talk about security on the way. Yesterday, there was a plane crash in Zaria yesterday.
Yeah.
So now even fly in Nigeria, you're not even safe. On the road, you're not safe.
Incidentally, nobody died.
You see? So if we must go back to where we start, where one start is Pankane has saved eastern Nigeria, Cocoa has saved the west, the granite has and scale has saved the north, and the north. We must continue to that place.
And even work better to even improve
now, because
other
we are
areas
now
too.
mature, better. So as why this is a problem. Because it's still coming, they just begin to come, that problem. In the
Okay.
world.
Okay, before we go, tell us more on how we're going to preserve foods. Apart from this, is this the only thing that we can use to preserve food?
No.
Are there other things?
There are many ways.
Okay.
There are many ways. If I'm preserving fish or meat,
Fresh.
I can use this in the local way. If I want this commercial way, I have to bring photovoltaic, build what they call a cold room. Anywhere in Nigeria can be start cold room that day. Measure the temperature needed for fish, 50, 70 degrees. Then any fish is there will remain there forever.
Cold room that uses electricity.
Eh?
You use electricity.
What do you mean by electricity in Nigeria? You don't have electricity in Nigeria.
Okay, you use solar. What do you want to use for the cold room?
In the world, the photovoltaic is the highest, the cheapest electricity in the world, which Nigeria must buy.
So what are you going to use to preserve the cold room?
Eh?
What are we going to use on the cold room? That's what I've asked.
No, cold room is any enclosure. It can use wall, it can use metal, it can use wood.
Really?
Provided it is insulated.
Oh,
This thing can be cold room. This thing
okay.
can be cold room. You can use mud in Ethiopia. They use mud. Somalia they use mud. Inside they paint black because of retaining temperature.
Yeah.
That's all. I fix your machine there up solar because of construction.
Okay, there's going to be a machine that's going to be solar. So it's not local now. Yeah. It's not local. It's technologically driven. That's what we're looking at.
You must measure the temperature there. Then you work. It can be installed anywhere in Nigeria. And if the government, Ministry of Agriculture is serious, we can do it anywhere in the world. They are doing it in Sokoto now. A registered Sokoto has convinced the government they are doing it in Sokoto and the rural areas. Because if you continue to allow food to destroy, you are already in trouble.
Of course.
Because you can't go out without eating. You can't go.
Okay.
And the government cannot continue helping you. They can't continue helping you. So there's a way of bringing them down, this food losses. There's a way. We can do it ourselves.
So, Prof, I think contribution.
Yeah, briefly, because we're already running off, and by way of solution, that's what we're looking for.
Yeah,
okay.
Now. I think we have technical schools. I think we have technical schools in the country that if these things are no longer taught in the technical schools, I think they have to be reintroduced. Because when education administrators are doing their curriculum, you know, it's from researchers. It's whatever you get. That's after assessing, evaluating students. Do you understand? Check out the performance of these things. How are they failing? What are the methods of teaching that I'm going to use to see that students are doing it? And if that, I believe that is how this one of the courses I didn't do during my own time, entrepreneur, because then I saw that probably when after graduating, no work, no nothing. So when the entrepreneur is taught as one of the courses, you see that when students graduate, instead of saying, no job, therefore I have to fold my hands and don't work now, therefore they have to do things. Then the technology has to be reintroduced, as it is no longer being taught in the school. Then another thing is this, what is it? I have something in mind. Let me know if I can be able to remember it.
It's okay. We will talk about that some other time. It does happen.
I have a
Okay,
question before we
we
go.
must go. Who are you going to ask the question? The presenters?
Anambra division. Can Anambra people imbibe on this technology? Yeah, getting people and Anambra to know there is a way out on this. Because I'm ready, I'm Anambra.
You know, I've asked you, how do we assess you? How do you help us? I've asked you
If
this.
you make me yesterday, just yesterday, I was coming to do something here. And tomorrow I will be training people in Anambra.
Okay,
on
where?
food preservation.
Where?
The one NGO called, I don't know their name, but
Okay, you're already here.
I'm going to train people.
Are you from Anambra State?
I'm from Anambra.
Where are you from?
Ubene, Noka, North.
Ubene. Okay,
But my life is spent in Europe.
I know.
So if we can now reach out people now, there's way out. Every local government chairman, there's way out. Churches, there's way out. Schools, there's way out. Then we start.
Now you
Now
come.
you're
We
done
start.
now.
Now you
Waiting
come.
for nowhere.
That's what I've been looking out
And
for.
spread the information.
Yes. Okay, because you have a lot in your head. You need to dish it out so that the younger ones will catch up on it and then will continue
I will give
existing.
you something magnified.
What is it? Okay, it's a pamphlet. Okay, can we see it briefly because we're running off? Let's look at the way we can get people involved, you know, to know how to preserve their food locally, especially women. You're a woman. How do we preserve these little things? If you're ready, tell us. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. As a woman, I have to.
If you don't eat here now, see, this is a fish. This tomato, this fish.
Okay.
I've trained more than 45 women in Nigeria, mainly in the north and the west, and they know how to preserve this thing, how to get tomato paste done, how to preserve fish. This is fridge I'm using now. If you see my mechanized fridge, using local method, you don't know that it's a local fridge, and it's working.
This is not local fridge. The fridge I'm seeing here is not local. Now.
Design, you're seeing the design, but inside is clear.
Okay. Inside this fridge is clear.
Inside is clear.
Hey, we need to have you around. And what's this other one?
This is
Okay, this is solar.
green dryer, the one you see here. This is also biogas, using
Okay, this
their
one,
toilet gas
biogas.
to cook.
Okay.
So all this is to make sure that we stop wasting our food.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, AJ. Let's go.
Well, that's the much we have for you this morning. Thank you so much for being here to talk about what we had here this morning, starting with Dr. Ngozi Okoye. Thank you so much for being here and giving us the opportunity to talk so much. And then Professor I.J. Okeke, Green Energy Specialist, National Energy Research and Development Center, University of Nigeria, Nsukka. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for coming. You have a lot, like I said, in your head that we want to tap from.
we want to tap
Please,
from.
don't- Okay, and you're one of us. You should concentrate here in Anambra State to make sure that we have everything sufficient from you before you start giving it out to other people. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody that joined us in this session. We're not leaving.
Yeah,
guests are leaving because we are continuing what.
Yeah,
we
up
have.
next we have is Catch the Bus. That's a segment where we give you topical happenings that's just happening around us, and then we just want to feed you, and then you get to share one or two opinions on the issues or the videos that we have to play for you this morning. And that's how we try to rejig and then re-inform you on what's happening on Good Morning Anambra. The show still continues. Don't go anywhere.
All right, the show goes on.